Reading? Ah, I never learned how to do that, though. Vagrus is a game that involves a fair bit of reading, if it is to be enjoyed and experienced as intended by the developers. It is also a difficult game with little hand-holding, where success is by no means guaranteed. You will probably lose everything several times before getting the hang of leading your traveling company. Vagrus is a labor of love, created by a tiny team that dared to dream big with the support of an amazing little community. We're extremely grateful to those that helped us along the way with constructive criticism. I was elected to lead, not to read. Draw a character / monster from the game. The dragon from the last game. Oh. Play intro, send crash reports. That's a lie. Wait, there's no reading? Comitatus, an armed traveling company. Carries cargo and passengers across the wastelands of the continent. You can get involved in a variety of jobs ranging from trading to mercenary work. Vagrus, adventurer, vagabond, captain, leader of a comitatus. There's reading, I guess, but I didn't think it was that hard.
They call it.
Oh.
What a fine poetic name for something as rotten and twisted as our land has become. It was not always so. Long ago, the old empire, the noblest and most enduring.
No more weird card story game? We'll probably do another run of that at some point, because it is very good. It was short. That was only like 45 minutes, I think. But in the interest of seeing all three things we had on the wheel today,
inevitably, the empire began to fall into stagnation and
a nation of stags. Stagnation.
Holding on to their privileges and resisting change while trying to avert the collapse of the realm. The emperor and his theocracy took to measures that were worthy of true.
Look out, tentacles!
Cruelty. Subjugating weaker realms, enslaving whole nations, strip mining foreign resources, oppressing imperial citizens, war on several fronts.
You forgot the other stick. You're supposed to have a T-shape.
Eventually, the gods could no longer tolerate such horrors wrought in their name. Foretold by an abundance of divine omens, they descended upon the Empire to right its wrongs.
We can't allow the Empire to kill all these innocents. We'll go kill them ourselves.
Became known as the Calamity. They annihilated the Empire in a matter of days.
Oh, my retina! Come on!
The gods then finally
they annihilated my eyes.
Anger and confusion. It is said that so much grief and shame filled them that they were broken, and they left this reality, never to return.
Kind of a dick move on the gods' part.
Seemed dead, but at length survivors began to crawl out of their hiding holes and faced a land.
We call those hidey holes.
No longer welcomed them. Arcane anomalies, the fallout of the calamity,
annihilate these nuts.
And people realized that they had to share their new home with changed and twisted creatures.
Throwing flashbang.
That timed pretty well to some of that lightning.
In the tapestry of reality arose to rule over the natives. In time, these new powers rebuilt the fallen empire in their own image. And the river realm.
Katase, have you seen or tried Solium Infernum yet?
Reincarnated from the ashes. The inhabitants of the land, such as I, now eke out a living under the crushing rule of the new empire. The continent itself.
I feel like you'll enjoy Solium Infernum.
Building a cozy home for ourselves. As travel is dangerous, many ventures specialize in transferring cargo and passengers over bleak and deadly leagues of land. Others try to take everything of value from said travelers. or attempt to find buried treasures among the ruins of the old empire.
I might give the developer a
The
poke
leaders
and
of
see
the
if they'll
endeavors are, some say,
slide a
the
key
bravest
my
men and
way.
women of the River realms. Such a leader is called a Vagrus.
Patch notes. Outpost design changes. If you're interested in details. Oh, sweet lord. New game plans. This is the way Vagrus was intended to be played. Well then. Nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal wreck. Boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. From Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley, 1818. No, it's from the movie Watchmen.
Yes, a Vagrus. What a profession. Daring and savvy, always watching the horizon, always looking for an opportunity, and of course, for what is best for his comitatus, eh? And you are a Vagrus too, are you not? Many of your kind have I seen in my long life as a vagabond. Care to listen to a story about your exquisite
Vargas, no,
good master?
Vagrus.
It is a tale of woe and terror, but it is also a tale that is true, as I have seen it with mine own eyes.
Tell us your tale, old man. Play Pilgrims of the Wasteland, skip Pilgrims of the Wasteland. I'm used to seeing something along the lines of play the tutorial, skip the tutorial. But this could be the tutorial? We'll play Pilgrims of the Wasteland?
Wise you are, good master. My tale is of a
That is the
Vagrus
tutorial,
such as
alright.
yourself, but one whose fate
Probably
was
a good idea.
cursed and wrought with ill fortune.
Rot.
It all happened a long time ago. 10 years, maybe more.
Last Tuesday.
I was but a passenger, traveling rough roads and forgotten
We
ways.
played
with
Pilgrims,
this
now we're playing
comitatus,
Pilgrims of the
south
Wasteland.
along the feet
This is the
of
sequel to
great
what we just
mountains of
played.
the west.
Hey, yeah, I gotta go.
This comitatus I speak of had fallen under hard times. Perhaps it was due to imperial harassment or unfortunate decisions, or simply bad luck. Irafrons, Saint of Roads, does not always smile on us mere mortals.
I want to be a
But
saint of a
however, it
road.
came to pass, their coin was drying up, and their opportunities seemed few and far between. One of the last chances their Vagrus saw was to travel to the remote town of Scrapheap and spend their remaining funds to stock up on cheap scrap metal.
What we
This
need
metal could be sold
is
for great
Hollow,
profit over in the east and
the
south.
wolf spirit
It
of
wasn't a bad
bounty,
plan,
the wise
truly,
wolf.
but it was
She'll
not
help us
without
make money.
risks either.
Welcome to Pilgrims of the Wasteland, a standalone story of Vagrus, the Riven realms. It serves as an introduction to the setting and also as a tutorial to the game. It behooves you to read the tutorial text and follow the instructions to get a better understanding of how the game works. The circle with the little triangle icon can be clicked in the tutorial window to show what the section's referring to via a pointer. Note that you have to be on the right UI screen for the pointer to appear. Although Vagrus is an open-world game, due to Pilgrims of the Wasteland being a tutorial, it progresses along a narrow guided path in the beginning. It opens up only later, after the core mechanics have been introduced. You can't read the rest of this. On the campaign map, your commoditus, a traveling toilet, always occupies a node and moves between nodes through the paths. Moving along paths costs movement points, indicated next to each path. Every in-game day, you have a number of movement points to spend before you need to camp. To move, click on a nearby node and select Move from the radial menu. You can select a node that is farther away. The MP cost of moving there will be calculated and the path highlighted.
For your sake, Katase, Solium Infernum is a game where you play a Prince of Hell, and you're up against other Princes of Hell. And it's a very kind of diplomacy and deception-driven experience. It's a good time. I really do feel like it would be in your particular wheelhouse. You should take a look at it. Well, alright. I'm gonna move somewhere. I'll move to Scrap Heap. Having gone ahead of the column with a handful of scouts, you watch from afar as your Commodus slowly trudges along the broken terrain, making its way south ponderously among dormant geysers. All around you, the hills smolder lazily in the perpetual twilight. Are you all right? Javik's voice resonates with sympathy as he appears next to you on the ridge. You nod slowly, but you do not look at him, your gaze lost in the distance where ash cloaks the horizon, and the towering mountains to the south and west. You turn to your cubs, and note his supportive smile. You and Javik have been traveling the realms together for years now. There's no person in the world you trust more than him, except, perhaps, yourself. I know you feel that your hands are tied, but like I said before, you made the right choice by leading us here. That's right, I remember you telling me about this. This game is very similar to, Sunless Sea and Sunless Skies, right? The devil behooves me. What's going on, Rip? You're a weirdo. Time will tell. I have my doubts. It's a long shot. Wasn't much of a choice. It's either this or returning my trading license. It has to work. We cannot fail. Not like this. Oh, don't be mean to Javik. You know what? It's a long shot, and you know it. But I think it'll work out. True. But it's better than just giving up. The crew agrees too. That accounts for something now. It does, yes. Good to know that they still have faith in me. They do have faith in you still. It should not come as a surprise, since you have known and traveled most of them for years and years. Some founding members of the Comatas you could trust with your life, but you've heard stories before about Vagrus, who have been abandoned for less. Times being what they are, Javik trails off, with Imperials cracking down on us, independence more heavily than before, business is tough, everyone knows, and they appreciate your efforts to keep us afloat. Our plan ought to give us another chance. The plan. You talked your traveling company into this a few weeks ago, but with every step towards the western mountains mountains more and more of them started to have doubts. Such is the way of the road, perhaps. The plan involves a desperate attempt at squeezing a low selling price for metal bits out of an old contact of yours in the town of Scrap Heap, stocking up on said metal by spending your remaining coin, and bringing the cargo down south around the Molten Tongue. That's a good name for a sex move. I gave him the old Molten Tongue. To Devon via Avernum and Ash. There's a shortage of metal in Devon, and you know several buyers who would give a pretty price for your goods if you can only make it there before many others with a similar cargo do. Such contacts are the boon on the long decades spent on the road. But even in Narbo, the villain... But even if Narbo, that villain, gave you an agreeable price in Scrap Heap, the road is not without its perils. Sneaking through the gap between the dead forest and the Molten Tongue, wink wink, is inviting disaster. So is not a path many Vagrus would risk. And of course, if this fails, you're out of alternatives. Do you think Narbo will help us out? The old scavenger was never famous for his goodwill, Javik wonders. I think there's like more stuff down there, but I can't scroll? Yeah, scroll wheel won't take me down. I could definitely see there's a 3 there. Up arrow, down arrow, no. Whoa, I can click on text. I can get like, am I curious about things? The Molten Tongue, a most wicked sex act. It involves drinking hot hot peppermint tea before consuming the member of your lover. Oh, there you go. Thank you. You're right. It's such a simple thing to click on, but my brain's like, scroll wheel no work? Game broken. One could only hope. I haven't seen him in years. We always did good business. That said, you're not sure he would remember you or if he's alive at all. He has to help us out. He won't be able to pass up the opportunity to make us indebted to him. Even the thought of selling yourself out in such a way makes you feel dirty. Almost as dirty as that time you did the molten tongue. These are dark times. They call for desperate deeds, but such thoughts make me uncomfortable, to be honest. Javik rubs his chin absent-mindedly. You've seen this expression all too often not to realize he's using his sorcerer's talent to read your mind. Taking a peek, are you? Apologies! Javik rubs his eyes quickly and looks away. You know how it is. It comes to me so naturally that sometimes I don't notice I'm doing it. Your thoughts were loud, Vagrus. I have to actually block them, you see. Every time you think about performing or receiving the molten tongue, I can't help myself. After joining your Comatus 6 years ago, Javik proved to be an invaluable asset. Not only does his sense moods and thoughts around him, but he also is able to subtly manipulate others when he focuses his inner energies. It comes in handy when doing business. And the molten tongue. Then there are his other perks. A few times you saw him shatter the minds of men and beasts who tried to kill him. Not a pretty sight, but a very effective deterrence. Yet, because he is not a trained sorcerer, at least not in the traditional sense, his abilities are somewhat difficult to control. You have to become accustomed to this and his impromptu thought scans, while others find it less bearable to be around. For this reason, he has kept his abilities a secret for many years overall. But you can't keep a secret such as this for long in the close-knit community of Comatus. Especially none of you keep bursting minds and knowing things you shouldn't. But there are only a handful of, There's some words that are like, comes. But it's probably pronounced not as comes. He's basically Hollow the Wise Wolf. Yeah, but not nearly as sexy, and there's no sexual tension. Or is there? I mean, maybe. We keep talking about the devil's tongue, if you know what I'm saying. There are only a handful of cums who put up with being near him for any length of time. But even so, he has not probed your mind in years, certainly not on purpose, but neither by accident. Perhaps he's less in control now, which suggests he's more on edge about this whole trip than he lets on. See, this time, it lets me scroll. It's weird that before it made me press the button. That's why I was confused. Apology accepted. Mind probes and peppermint tea, oh my. You both head west.
As we were coming up to the gates of Scrap Heap, this trash-pile town of cutthroats and scavengers, we could see the vast mountain ranges of shattered Bivanda Thar looming ominously over the horizon, half shrouded in the gaseous vapors belched forth by the volcanoes in the far west. My companions prepared to do their business in town as fast as they could, not wishing to tarry in this notorious place.
Voodoo? Voodoo? At the foot of the ever-fuming mountains of the ancient dwarven kingdom lies Scrap Heap, the town of scavengers. Debris and junk is piled into veritable hills, upon which the rickety homes of the decrepit inhabitants stand precariously. Ash lingers everywhere, and the sun is almost always absent from the twilight skies. Deals are struck day and night over the precious metal scraps gathered in the ruins of nearby Devendathar, while the Heap King oversees all of his dreaded tower. Shady eyes and soot-covered faces watch from under ash-laden awnings. Life is cheaper than iron here, some say. When a comatose enters a settlement, you can select from a variety of options. But it's a tutorial, so you only have one. Heap King is scared to leave his heat. El Gaso gets bonus points for making a deep cut reference to fucking Hey Arnold Stoop King. Sorry, Stoop Kid. Stoop Kid scared to leave a stoop! Come on, Stoop Kid! You make your way to the Wraith's Stash, a notorious watering hole tucked away in a small street just beneath the imposing tower of the Heap King, but not quite under its immense shadow. Few frequent the establishment, which makes it perfect for Narbo and his little operation of honest merchants. Apparently, the knave is not only alive, but has done well for himself in the past decade or so. Taking only Javik, you leave the Comatus to the care of Titus, your quartermaster and frequent lover, while you're gone negotiating. Ash is flitting from the black sky as you cross the street and nod to the bouncer of the Wraith's Stash. You give him your sidearms quietly. Rules are rules, at least as long as they can enforce them. Yet they have the courtesy of allowing you to keep your dagger. And of course, they have no idea that Javik is capable of blowing people's fucking heads up. Should it come to a scuffle, Javik will blow their fucking heads up. Not that you expect such a thing, but with Narbo, one never knows. Though you have told your crew that he and you go way back, the entrepreneur is a capricious and manipulative man, with whom you did not part on the best of terms. Does he remember that? Surely. Could he be persuaded to take your proposal? Who knows? Your eyes slowly adjust to the dimness of the tavern's interior. Only a few candles and a lamp at the bar illuminate the common room. Shadowy faces turn toward you and observe you through the smoke. The bartender, a thick-set man in a dirty tunic, is chewing a tobacco. Not a tobacco, just chewing tobacco serenely. Above the bar hangs the skeleton of a large heap lizard on display. Narbo is sitting at a table in the back, his bodyguard half hidden in the darkness at the wall behind him. Walk with confidence? I thought it was going to be chewing a tobacco pipe. Like, I thought, like, you know, just chewing on it anxiously instead of smoking it, but it's just chewing tobacco. Walk over to the bar. I can walk with confidence, walk without confidence. Or sit at a vacant time. I'm going to walk confidently to Narbo. The entrepreneur looks up from a stack of papers in front of him and rubs his eyes. Narbo is a corpulent man. The word corpulent is burned into my brain forever as being very much a part of the Super Mario Brothers movie when they're talking about Big Bertha at the Boom Boom Bar. A corpulent woman, very corpulent. That scene just plays in my head anytime that word is said. Anyway, he's as corpulent as Big Bertha down at the Boom Boom Bar. With a bushy, dark beard and a few missing teeth. Part of his face is covered in scars similar to those left by old Burns. That, coupled with the withered and mutated left arm that hangs limply at his side, is a clear indication of the taint. The merchant wears a leather jerkin studded with small bronze and bone coins, a sign of wealth and boldness. His bodyguard, a lithe man with tribal tattoos and an outfit made of leather, moves his hand calmly to a spear that leans against the wall. Narbo's mouth falls open as the spark of recognition flares up in his eyes. No wonder, it has been 10 years. When I think about corpulent women and bars, I think about the dwarf from the first Dungeons & Dragons movie who says, "You've got to get a 300-pound dwarf woman who's got something to hang on to," while humping the air. That scene's burned into my memory. I had forgotten about that one, but now it's in there too. But Mario Brothers movie has precedence in my head over most things. Over most things. The fuck, mate? He blinks. I thought you croaked. People, He waves his good hand around and looks at his bodyguard. "Totals your demise." The man finishes a sentence for him as the merchant nods vehemently.
That business with Karnak outpost in the storm, Narbo adds.
You tell him that you were indeed at Karnak when the terrible arcane storm struck. You describe the horrors of that night briefly. You add how many of your original Commodus died there, close friends, old traveling companions. But you walked away unscathed. This was years ago.
Sheesh, that fucker Irefons looked after you something fierce, eh?
Narbo chuckles heartily.
But I'm sure you haven't come to reminisce about good old times, eh?
His predatory smile makes you cautious, even though he invites you to sit down with a casual wave of his meaty hand. Apologize for the unfortunate way you parted 10 years ago.
Far as I can tell, you never done anything against me, eh?
He shrugs with a wry smile.
Course you could have sent someone to
warn us. The bodyguard finishes the sentence. Back when Narbo and you parted ways, Avernum's Collegium was hot on your trails. They got offended by how you two outplayed them by smuggling in a shipment of exotic spices without their knowledge and selling it to a local nobleman's merchant house. You look at Narbo and tell him there's no way of warning him or knowing where he was after the chaos was unleashed following the heist in Avernum. You had to get your crew out of there, so you did. The merchant's fiddling thoughtfully with a stack of papers while listening to you.
I appreciate you coming clean, even if his sorry business was so many years ago,
he says after a long pause. The bodyguard becomes visibly less tense.
But something tells me that ain't all ye come for still. So what is it?
You breathe in, time to outline your proposition. You explain to Narbo how you want him to give you a discount on a shipment of metal scraps, which you then would smuggle into Devon, through contacts you have in the city's underworlds. The profit on the shipments would be quite exquisite. You don't want to name your contact, but divulge enough of her that the plan looks solid. Buyers, you say, are lining up, expecting the shipment soon. Narbo sits in silence, eyes fixed on the table as if listening to some noise from afar. He does not cut you off at any time during your proposition. At length, after you're done, he looks up and gives you a weak smile.
That sounds like you've been thinking a long time about it,
he says as he shifts in his chair.
And it's a great plan, except for the part where I give you a discount for your asking and not much else. And I don't do that, mate. That would make me,
an almoner, the bodyguard adds discreetly.
That a word?
The Narbo looks up at him. When the man nods, he turns back to you.
An almoner. See, I'm no almoner. You know you gotta do better than that. What you got for me?
Let him know that in exchange for his help, you could help him out with a problem you may have. Oh, had we maybe deigned to walk about town? Well, not walk about town, that wasn't an option. But sit at a different table, go to the bar, like those are options. We may have found knowledge about him having an issue. We could tell him we're in a bad spot, and this is our last chance. Remind him that you two used to make a great team, and this could rekindle your partnership, a very low chance of success. Tell him that you will be in his debt. He'll make a tidy profit as it is, but you'll owe him a favor. Moderate chance of success. Increase your chance of succeeding in the test by 10%, cost 2 resourcefulness. Movement 3, march movement, supplies. Offensive power. Defensive power. Our money, bros, lirg, and changers. Some choices have dependencies, meaning you can only pick a certain choice if you have the right prerequisite. Perks, companions, resources, journal entries. That's a journal entry down there. Some choices... I'm covering the text, so I'm just going to read it out for you. Some choices involve tests that can be failed or succeeded with different consequences. Perks, characters, and resources can change the chances of success in tests. Test difficulty is represented by a number between 1 and 100 that you need to roll equal to or below. Alright. I'm going to spend some resourcefulness to increase my chances on this one. I'm gonna go for it.
I suppose you don't plan on croaking just so I can't collect on said debt?
Narbo's chuckle turns into a short wheezing cough. I know that feeling.
All right. Well, I know you to be a man of your word, and we used to run together, so I know you're good. But just to be clear, you do owe me for this, and I'll collect. I'll collect right now, in fact. You headed to Devon by way of Avernum, yes?
When you nod, Narbo leans closer and signals his bodyguard. The man with the dreadlocks steps closer and carefully produces a small packet from beneath his large leather jerkin, then puts it into the merchant's palm.
This here little fella is mighty important to me, see? If you could take this out of the city and deliver it to my associates in Avernum, we're even. You get your discount scrap from me.
The merchant offers you the package. Javik draws in a breath, but before he can speak, Narbo interrupts him.
And before pretty boy you ask, no. I won't tell you what's in it, and don't even think about opening the package. What I can say is, it ain't dangerous to you itself, but, you might want to keep it hidden from the damn militia of good old Crapheap.
Narbo, just tell us you want us to carry his drugs. Yeah, I'll move drugs. I'll be a mule. You take the package. The way Narbo glares at you makes it clear that you have no other choice. This might just be the opportunity you had hoped for. Narcotic crickets. Sounds like something out of, the book Born by Jeff Vandermeer. In that book, it's a post-apocalypse, but it is a post-apocalypse that happens from bioengineering. So, it's like a world of weird animals and creatures. But people get drunk by eating little fish that have alcoholic blood. They raise them and just eat them raw to get drunk. That's what I thought of when you said that. The package is small enough to fit in your palm, feels very light, and is wrapped in fine leather. You pocket it after briefly observing it.
You'll be looking for a man named Scornar in Avernum. He ain't to be trifled with either. Just tell him I sent you and you'll be fine. You can find him or his men in Lavinus, Watering Hole, most of the time. Give this little fellow to him, and only him, understand?
After you assure him you do, in fact, understand, Narbo instructs you to give him an hour. Then look for his people at the market and simply introduce yourself. They'll know what price they should give you on the metal scraps by then. He motions to his man. You and Javik stand up and make ready to leave.
Ravier will take you to the back exit. Don't want to give people the idea they come in here and beg for alms now, do we? Or anyone, or check it out. Or anyone to connect us and run of the militia, for that matter.
Scornar is definitely the name of a guy you could buy ketamine from. Oh yeah. You want to get in a K-hole? You live for Scornar. You got what you came for, so you leave the Wraith stash through the back entrance and head back to the Comatus. At the foot of the ever-fuming mountain of the ancient... Oh, I read this. This is the name... This is the description of Scrap Heap. Always something to be had here. Perhaps it's time to visit the Heap King. Stroll Scrounger's Lane. You and Javik roam the dingy market called Scrounger's Lane at the foot of the great heap, upon which the Tower of the Heap King is built. Ash-covered awnings and dirty stalls line the labyrinthine streets, with stiflingly narrow alleys and tiny squares, adding to the general confusion. Sometimes it is difficult to tell a shop from a dilapidated home, and for a good reason. Most people who live here are also merchants to some extent. Even though the Heap King's militia is there to keep the peace, you can't help but notice all the shifty gazes from the deplorable types aimed at you. You recall a little shop hidden in an alley. Its owner used to peddle dwarven curiosities. Perhaps it's still there. High chance of success. Let's do it. Oh, I failed! Because I trusted it when it said high chance. You cannot for the life of you find that little bastard shop. It's probably gone by now. Was there something else I wanted to do here? Take a look at local prices and goods. After spending an hour looking at wares, you realize that there's nothing here you would fork out coins for. course, there's a lot of useful things, but you want to keep the rest of your purse intact should you run into difficulties on the road ahead. Also, there's a veritable army of cut purses. Not cat purses, cut purses, working at the market. And though so far you have managed to outsmart them, staying here would tempt fate a bit too much. Time to leave this place altogether. Guess I'm going up to the Heap King. Walking up the great heap to the immense tower is a daunting task. Up on the hill, it is even more difficult to breathe than in the ash-choked city at its feet. A hot wind blows from the south. Every step is slow torture. By the time you reach the gates of the tower, your chest is heaving, and you're coughing up soot. Before you rise is the Tower of the Heap King, ruler of this trash pile of a town. Whole structures cobbled together from scrap, with the lower levels covered in metal sheets. A huge bonfire of yellow-white flame burns on its topmost level day and night. A beacon for the scavenging teams to follow home. Looking nigh impregnable, the fortress has only one entrance. A small group of guards sneers malevolently at you as you approach. Better turn back if you have no business here, vagabond, the ranking gatekeeper says from under a mask attached to his bronze skull cap. Ask where I can get a invitation. Perhaps you could try licking my asshole and see where it gets you, one of the guards says loud enough for you to hear. A round of applause and guffaws follows. The ranking guard does not laugh, but does nothing to reprimand his men either. My duty is to stop anyone without official business from entering, not to educate them on where to get a pass, he says and walks back to the others. Yeah, but I'm game for the asshole licking thing. Where's that button? Lick man's asshole. Come on. Prudes. Market. Oh, you can click on the art. That's nice. It is pretty. Oh, tutorial wants me to know something. Your journal, looking at the bottom left, is now active. Okay. Open your journal now by clicking on the book in the bottom left corner. The journal allows you to view your quests, tasks, and other information. You could search for entries and filter them on the top left. Entries are separated into objectives and qualities. Objectives are your quests and ongoing stories. The text of a selected list item appears on the right. These describe the quest or task and provide active objectives. Unread entries. Understood. I got it. I'm ready. Objective. The package, the shipment. Deliver it to a man. We need to do a shipment first. We gotta buy a bunch of stuff at the market. The market's now active. There we go. The market pane displays the available goods you could buy at the settlement's market on the right and opens your cargo pane on the left. You could buy goods from the market or sell your own goods from your cargo hold here. Maximum cargo space is 600 or 30 slots. It cannot be expanded further. Buy or sell, do stuff. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. I'm here for scrap metal. Scrap heap market. Supplies, supplies, supplies. I want to buy all your scrap, baby. How much should I buy? What do I got left? 20? Right there, that's it. That seems like a decent amount. Or actually, it looks like it wants me to fill up all that. Oh no, I bought all the scrap metal available. No more buying nothing. Smelting and a slew of other industries. Coal is mine near the west. What do you want, tutorial? You got something for me? Just making sure, just making sure. Alright. Pretty UI for the equipment screen. It's a good looking game. We ride a giant lizard. Sorcery, tools. Alright. Gotta buy supplies too, man. Purchase 24 scrap, additional supplies, 800 units. Gotcha. Wait, how much? 800 units, okay. Nice fitting calendar. Like, everything's very... Ooh, I can click it. Oh. Anyway, more supplies. $800. That's so much. That's 500. 750. There we go. Equipment that you can attach to the Comatus is sold in some markets or found throughout your travels. They provide bonuses and upgrades. You can switch between the market of goods and equipment using the buttons. Awnings. Equipment you own are pooled below. Can only be placed in the slot that matches the type. Harnesses. Harnesses. Cargo, tools, navigation, source, harnesses. There we go. Items. The third type of cargo. Do not take up cargo space, are not equipable. They're used and traded. You can switch panes in a settlement, active panel, open corresponding pane. When you're done exploring, click the exit button. Tell me you don't have to press that button 100 times, just a few hundred. Packed up, restocked in supplies, and with all your business here concluded, you finally make ready to leave the decrepit town of Scrap Heap. Spent inside a guarded compound, not for free. You set it at dawn. Ash is flitting from the sky, and the distant mountains rumble ominously in the morning twilight as your Comitatus reaches the west gate of the town. You notice almost immediately that the militia at the gates is questioning and inspecting travelers. Uh-oh. Move toward the inspection. You realize that even if they are looking for the package Narbo gave you, there's a minuscule chance of finding it among the several departing caravans, all made up of dozens of people respectively. Besides, the package is tiny and well hidden at the bottom of a sack of dried mushrooms. A robed magistrate of the Heap King appears to coordinate the search effort, picking out people or even whole traveling groups for inspection. As your Comitatus draws near, it takes only a passing glance from him to check you and your crew before he motions to let the guards set you out. You quietly pass out of the place. The Comitatus is well on its way, and the scrap heap is a mere dot in the horizon by the time Javik joins you at the front of the line. Just like I said, you made the right choice with this venture. Talk of how you may have saved us all is spreading like wildfire, he says with a faint smile. He flirts, he winks, he gives you a little kiss on the cheek. Of course, we do have to make it alive to Devon with the cargo, but it's a good start, don't you think? That's right, there may be hope for us yet. Well, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's not like we started this business yesterday. Oh god, we did start yesterday. With that, you both go back to your duties and the constant monitoring of the horizon. If all goes well, you should reach the Wound in a few days, where you can turn south along the edge of the Molten Tongue, hot, and travel down to Avernum. +3 morale. Your progress is saved at checkpoints. Whenever you leave a settlement, reach a story-related checkpoint, as well as the start of each in-game day, your game is saved automatically. Manual saving is unavailable in the standalone story Pilgrim's Wasteland. In the open world campaign, you can save any time you want. Alright.
There they were, with a full cargo hold, and filled with newfound hope. Yet, the road ahead still promised hardships and peril. I travelled with them southwards, expecting to reach more habitable lands beyond the Molten Tongue's river of lava.
Good. Molten Tongue, such a hot sex move name. Who is this man? The crew management UI is now active. Click on the sheet in the top left corner to open it. The crew management window allows you to manage your comitatus. Morale is the general mood of your comitatus. If it ever drops to 1, there's a chance that the comitatus dissolves and you'll lose the game. You can see the current effects of your morale below the rating. Obedience indicates how satisfied your slaves are. Oh, we have slaves? Come on now. Can't we, just have hired help? Low obedience leads to theft, runaways, and worse. Be sure to guard your slaves. We'll call them unwilling workers, with enough fighters, and treat your unwilling workers well. Or punish them, I don't care, to raise obedience. Nutrition shows you how well fed your crew is. No nutrition incurs penalties. Extra rations raise nutrition, while starving your crew generally works the opposite. Vigor indicates how well you can perform the Molten Tongue. Low vigor results in penalties on tests and drastically slows the comitatus, which can spell doom quite fast. You can see the current effects of your vigor below the rating. Okie doke. Oh, upkeep is how much you owe your crew. You can pay them at the end of each day or keep collecting debt. Consumption's how much food your crew consumes in a day. Running out of supplies leads to a quick death. Workforce is generated by workers and unwilling workers. You have to have enough workforce to cover the comitatus's needs, including beasts, crew, and passengers. Going below the required number bestows serious penalties. Passengers are people your comitatus takes to their destinations for rewards. You can take on passengers in some events and settlements. They also consume supplies. Lizard icon. Here you can see the number of each crew and beast type you have in your comitatus. Consult the tooltip for each type to learn more about their role. Outriders are special because you need a fighter and a mount to be able to create an outrider by using the plus button. While outriders are excellent fighters, mounts without riders carry cargo. You can also dismount. Boop. Nice uneventful trip there. You've run out of movement points and need to camp, ending the day. Being on the road all day, spending most of your MP, lowers the vigor of your comitatus, and you can replenish it by camping. You can also camp earlier rather than running out of MP, which helps raise vigor faster. At the end of each in-game day, the comitatus makes camp and settles down for the night. Supplies are consumed and movement points are refreshed after camping. At each camp, you could decide to offer normal or double wages for the current day, independently of whether you pay them or not. Double payment increases morale. You could also choose to pay all your debts and your crew at this time, or accrue payments. But the longer you delay, the grumpier the crew gets. Obedience and nutrition also appear here, as well as the option to discipline or liberate unwilling workers. Workforce shows how much workforce... Workforce is related to workforce. You need to maintain the comitatus. Going below the required value bestows serious penalties. You have the option to give out less or more supplies under rations, which penalizes or boosts vigor and morale, respectively. Starving your crew will have long-term negative effects on nutrition as well, but we may be necessary sometimes. Can we buy 12 dozen oxen? I want to go hunting. The lock icon allows you to save the current settings, ensuring they persist for all subsequent comps. However, the button is disabled until you reach a Vernon to prevent the accidentally handing out too many supplies. Waste all your bullets? Under acquire supplies, you can send your crew into the wasteland to find stuff. Hunting! Yeah, we got it. Foraging. I can figure those out without reading stuff. The summary of what happened to your crew that day could be seen. You could talk to companions. They heal. You could use medical supplies to heal faster. Defensive orders for the night. Cool, alright. Morale is keen. Liberate one or more of your unwilling workers to gain obedience. Liberated unwilling workers become workers. Free them. Free them all. How many do I have? Hold on, cancel this. Oh, seriously, how many do I own? Obedience of 7, max obedience of 9. Is there a way to tell how many I own? 11! Well then, liberate 11 of them. Now we have no slaves. I feel better. Now we just have workers. Way better. Pay them all now. Rations 100%. We're well rested. Defense orders. Post guards. Who's this sexy, Gotta save your bullets from your party members are bitten by zombies. Instantly goes broke. Hey, if you can't afford to pay your unwilling workers, then you don't deserve to be a business, alright? Pay your workers a fair wage. Medical supplies. I could have conversations with a sexy devil lady? Who's the sexy devil lady? More when it's discussing something with a few scouts when you approach them. She sees you and steps away from her company, joining you next to a tent in the shadows. I mean, if anyone's gonna give a good molten tongue, I feel like a devil lady's the right person to talk to. You immediately start to feel anxious, as if roused out of a torpor by Tarkian coffee. The effects of her demonkin heritage, no doubt. Anything I can do for you? Molten tongue. Where's the molten tongue? What do you think about Javik?
Javik is someone I did not trust. He could read people's thoughts, they say, but he has always been kind to everyone, and he knows his way around beasts. I'm glad he's traveling with us.
Anything else you wanted? Looks at you quizzically. Ask her about Demon King. She seems thoughtful.
Now, I can't speak for all of us because there are so many kinds and variants of our race. We are called Demonkin since it's said that demonic blood runs in our veins. Around us, people feel uneasy or anxious. Each of us has abilities that men of your empire do not possess. I can see in the dark. Cold gets me to slower, and my skin gets burned less likely than that of humans. It's all very practical. Oh, and I have these.
She points at her horns. This game has so much text. Hey, it told us at the beginning. It said there's going to be a lot of reading. She gets cold slower. But what about the molten tongue? Enough chatting for tonight. End day. Boop a doop a doop boop boop. Boop a doop a doop boop boop. Boop a doop. Boop. Alright, can't. Pay my people. I'm gonna run out of money real fast. Maybe I will send some people out to scavenge. Cost 1 fresh? Oh, 1 vigor to do that. Alright, I'll send out some stuff. We failed at hunting, but no one was harmed. We failed at foraging, but no one was harmed. Y'all are so good at what you do!
After a long... No, we're good. Like, we have 3 of the big currency. It costs 4 of this one per day. So we're gonna have, like... We could last for another 4, maybe 5 days. After a long day's march under bleak skies and harassed by hot winds, the Comitatus finally settles down in a wide ravine. After taking care of camp chores and checking on all of your cums. Molten tongue, am I right? You go to your tent and tuck in for the night. There are benefits to sleeping out in the wasteland. The silence is quite calming, tranquil even. Only the murmur of the distant fire-belching mountains, the whisper of the wind, and the occasional groans of the people receiving molten tongues can be heard. Except, something else is making a muffled noise you do not recognize. Your eyes flick open. Something is wrong. I gotta sneeze. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It's denying me the sneeze. Wait. Oh, fuck you. Oh! Thought my head was gonna explode for a second there. What in the Tartarus is that? Leaving your tent and passing the sleeping beast, you're just about to call to a guard when you stumble upon a large, quadrupedal creature covered in fused bone protrusions. It's munching on supplies scattered across the ground, evidently from a torn-open sack lying nearby. The creature is a Jakra, a wasteland scavenger that hunts in packs. Before you can utter a word, the monster charges you. And out of the shadows, Morwen leaps at it, tackling it aside and cutting its hide with her bone axe, and a follow-up swing. You breathe out, realizing she has probably just saved your life. Javik runs up to you just as the creature backs off and lets out a long howl. There's more of these accursed things, boss. Must have sneaked past the perimeter guards. They're trying to chase them off, he blurts out. As he does, you can hear yelling and the sound of battle from around the camp. The wounded Jakra is joined by another one from behind a cargo pile, and the two start circling you. Javik steps behind Morwen as they get ready for the fight. Oh my god, I didn't think there was going to be any combat like this. I thought it was going to be much more in the vein of Sunless Seas. Companion combat is turn-based, where 1 to 6 enemies fight against your team of 1 to 6 companions. You use skills of your companions to defeat your enemies, protect your companions, and set yourself up in advantageous positions on the combat board. Companion combat is made up of rounds. Each round, all the participants take turns to act, and when everyone has had their turn, the current round ends and a new round is started. This goes on until someone wins. Combat board is divided into 2 sides. I'm pretty sure I can figure it out. The order in which combatants receive their turns is in... Oh, it's according to their initiative. Ooh. Melee skills can only be used from the front row. They can only target front row enemies that are adjacent to the attacker position, or back row if there's no front row enemies to block. So Morwen here. Alright, tutorial, calm down. I'm pretty sure I can figure this out. Move her there. Each companion has combat skills. I'll figure it out. I'm done. Mind blast the back row. Morwen can kick a man. You can consult the combat log. Sure. Alright, Mind Blast. Hypnosis. Premonition. Move. Mind Blast the back row again. Aw, she got pinned for a round. Yeah, melt his brain. Melt his brain. Alright, Morwen. Devastating blow, strafe, savage kick, whiplash, accident. Victory. The two Jokra lie dead at your feet. Morwen wipes the foul-smelling blood from her axe blade as a guard arrives to talk to her. You okay, boss? Oh, you okay, boss? Javik pats you on the shoulder. I was talking my way through coughs. Like, I get they're going for a Darkest Dungeon look, but I think they're cutting too quick. It does make it look a little funny. All right. The two Jokra lie dead at your feet. Morwen wipes the foul-smelling blood from her axe blade as a guard arrives to talk to her. You okay, boss? Javik pats you on the shoulder. You nod, turning to Morwen as she approaches you. All hostiles taken care of, she says. They got to some of the food, but we could just take their meat and other pots to make up for it. Harvest the damn critters before going back to bed. Perhaps you will gain something from this before the end. Ivory, supplies, and hides. Looks like he's just giving it the stink eye, yeah. Your chart's now active. Navigating the wasteland of Zarian and planning your journeys. You can move. Whoa! Good lord! Fuck me, that's big. Like, we've been playing, we went from here to here. Holy shit. It is a nice map. The Plains of Bones. The Wandering Old Man. Any discovered settlements or points of interest can be marked by clicking on their icon and choosing Flag Icon in the bottom left box, which highlights them on the chart. You have the option to navigate to the codex. Yeah, there's a lot of good world building going on. Alright, the entire map isn't currently playable, but they seem to be adding more parts as DLC. Interesting. It does say, right here. Although a sizable chunk of the continent of Zarin is accessible in the open world campaign, the rest is not reachable and is merely part of world building. Good to know. Go back. Go back. Mark of Vernum south of you in your chart. Okay. And then close it. Top right corner or escape. Alright, I marked it. Mark Avernum. It is marked. How much more? Oh, you want me to mark it this way, right? Poopy place. Suckers. Can't stop me from doing that. Yeah, it costs 4 middle and 6 rights. This is made up of 10 of this, and this is made up of 10 of that. So we have a few days. Heal! Alright, hopefully you guys heal. I'll tell you guys to scavenge a little bit, just to see if maybe we can find some good stuff. Yeah, scavenge again. They're currently submissive? We don't have any slaves. I don't believe in that one. I set them all free. Only willing workers now. Failed at hunting, but no one was harmed. But we did scavenge some supplies. Not gonna pay anyone's wages that way, but whatever. Running a little low. Forest March allows you to move further than your maximum movement points in a given day. It uses marching points. Forest marches get you further, use them carefully, your crew will lose vigor and even morale. We strongly suggest refraining from frequent forced marches until you have more experience. Alright, I won't forced march then. You don't have to convince me. Wait, am I using forced marching right now? I said you don't have to convince me, but then I did it like a fool. That'll heal you, boys. Back up. Fail, fail. Morrowind heals. As the Comitatus is scaling another stretch of black sand dunes, one of the outriders you had sent out to screen your left flank rides in on the line and heads immediately to you. You can see the man is in a panic right away from the way he hops off the saddle while deaccelerating and almost falls over. Before he reaches you, your guardsmen are already setting up a defensive perimeter to the east. You beckon to the beast drivers to halt the line. Vagrus! They're coming! I saw them walking over the dunes! The pilgrims are coming! A murmur of terror washes over the Comitatus. Clearly your scout was referring to the last pilgrimage. This group of spectral horrors is known to appear out of nowhere and eradicate even large groups of travelers in a matter of minutes. Nobody quite knows what happens to those who encounter them up close, as nobody has lived to tell the tale. Some reckless people were reputedly able to take a peek at the otherworldly wayfarers, but during your many years as a Vagrus, you've never met any such person whose story was credible. You know all too well that if your outrider tells the truth, and you see no reason to see why he wouldn't, the only chance of survival is for all of you to run or hide. Find a place where you can hide. Outriders you had sent westward report that there's a rocky area not far away. After heading west for a quarter of an hour in a great haste, the Comitatus finds a stretch of badlands, crisscrossed by shallow ravines. The jagged, tall rock formations are half covered in the fine black sand of Arenas Negras. Already the scouts are busy setting up hiding places among the rocks and gullies. You're all behind cover in a matter of minutes. Everyone settles down, and they either pray to whatever gods they believe in, or prepare for a desperate last stand. But what about you? Perhaps there's a chance now to take a look at the last pilgrimage from up close. No, surely it would be insane to attempt such a thing. Wouldn't it? As you're pondering this, the wind picks up from the northeast, carrying with it clouds of black dust, the perfect cover for spying. There's still time before the storm hits with the full brunt of its force. Creep out among the dunes and try to take a peek. Takes about 10 minutes for the feeling of what you're doing is utter madness to settle in. By then, you and a scout are creeping forward in the dust storm. Going is rough despite wearing hoods and scarves to protect your face and eyes, but eventually you make it to the set of dunes through which the pilgrimage is expected to move. After 10 more aggravating minutes, a dull light appears over the dunes to your left. As it gets closer, it's revealed to be a blanket of white-yellow radiance that covers a shambling assembly of sickly figures. They cross the dunes not 50 yards from where you're hiding, but due to the awful dust and eerie light, you cannot make out much. They appear to be men of sorts, or at least humanoid, wearing long robes that remind you of old depictions of pre-calamity clergy. Some of them lean on staves. A faint chanting is on the wind, and both of you are struck by a weird sensation as if someone walked over your grave. Strange images fringe upon your peripheral vision, elusive, uninformed. The otherworldly congregation passes in what feels like hours and takes the dust storm with them. You walk back to the rest of your people wearily. Some people talk of strange images passing before their eyes, much like walking dreams, while the pilgrimage was close by. The Comitatus digs itself out of the black sand and dirt ponderously. You're ready to depart in half an hour. Most of your comes are hushed and keep a weary eye on the horizon, and on you for days to come. Sooner you leave, the better. -1 to morale and movement. Come on, guys, I just wanted to see the ghosts. Don't be weird about it. Down to 2. Running very low on money. Almost like paying these people is somehow cutting into my money reserves. Fail! Come on, people! Alright, one forced march. Just one. The Comitatus climbs the last black doom and comes to a halt at your mark. Standing on one of the carts, you spy the horizon carefully before hopping down and convening with your most trusted. Ahead looms the voiceless lake, a place of deathly quiet and utter peril. The lava flow of this particular tendril of the molten tongue cools down here below a tough shell of dark rock, covered by steaming water. Yet the shell is not solid enough in places. It can crack in the blink of an eye and open under one's foot, leading to a sudden, scalding death. There are ways to guess where it's safe to cross, but it has to be done slowly, attentively. Your scouts know their way around here, but because the lava changes constantly beneath the shell, they have to rely on finding a new way through each time. The lake is voiceless because everyone has to keep completely quiet. That way, one might hear the shifting lava and the cracking shell just in time to avoid disaster. Your lieutenants agree that crossing over to the far side of the shell is still better than going around and into Arenas Negras. However, especially after coming so close to the last pilgrimage a few days ago, nobody in their right mind would go near that damn place, and so you're stuck with the plateau surrounding the voiceless lake. Let's go ahead and improve our chances of winning. Going step by step, listening carefully to any telltale sounds, while sweating profusely, every member of the Comitatus manages to make it through. After hours that felt like days, you could turn away from the accursed lake and head southwards. The crew becomes animated as you leave the perilous plateau behind, even joking among themselves about the constipated silence back there. Come on, good scavenging. Or none, that's cool too.
Just as we were about to leave that damnable lake behind, we heard it. An abominable shriek pierced the air and made us gasp. It came from behind some hills nearby, coupled with the ruckus of battle. The armed women and men of the Comitatus looked at their Vagrus questioningly.
Don't look at me, I don't know what the hell's going on. Scouts come running towards the carts as you're about to enter the Badlands south of the lake, and hear what could only be described as a paralyzing howl, accompanied by the unmistakable sounds of battle. There's a battle going on, Vagrus, just beyond yonder hills, the scout points southeast. Some armed folks are being attacked by bloody undead. A murmur washes over the crew, and many of them ready their weapons. Not to give aid to fellow travelers in dire need is believed to attract dire peril onto yourself. Besides, it would be better to fight the undead together than alone if it comes to that. The tension is rising with each passing moment, with everyone watching you, waiting for you to give the order. Rush in and attack the undead as fast as possible. With weapons drawn and shouting to give the men over the hills some hope, you run ahead, followed closely by your fighting crew. You might get there in time to save these people. Your cums are up for a fight. You clamber over the next few hills and look down upon the site of a brutal melee. Bodies are strewn across the field. Most of them are mutilated undead, but some are mangled and burnt humans in dark clothes. Another such man, a robed priest with a shaven head, falls to the ground after flying for half a dozen yards, following a bone-crushing hit from a looming white giant. The creature looks as if it's made up of several bodies, fused by some combination of natural disaster and twisted magic. The rest of the shamblers look like they're smoldering, The Great White Abomination engages the last two men standing, a white-faced, lightly armored enforcer with a shield and a tall man in elaborate black armor, wielding a greatsword. Both of them look worse for wear. There's no time to lose. You and yours rush to the aid of the two men. Oh, lordy. Before the first round is started, you have to deploy your companions to the available positions on the friendly left side. And then we begin fight. Alright, I'm not going to read the rest. I can figure it out. Here's our two new friends who look very friendly. Let's put her in the front row, you in the back row. Man, I've been healing them every day, and look at... they're still... Oh, I see. I mean, he's still not at full health. Obviously, this guy's almost dead. Kind of surprised, though. I didn't realize the red bar wasn't, like, empty health. Begin fight. Whoa! Dude's dead already! I didn't even get to know his name. Some skills can target friendly units to support, protect, or even heal them. In this fight, a lot of Javik's skills cannot be used because undead enemies are immune to mind-affecting effects. Javik is far from useless, however, as he could use his premonition skill to keep his allies buffed with additional evade and block. Buffs do not stack but are refreshed when recast. Use premonition to buff an ally. Combat is cruel, and in general you cannot heal during it. Your defenses are your main way to mitigate damage. Evade allows you to completely avoid an attack, but you will be moved to an adjacent unoccupied position after a successful evasion. That also means that they may move away from a position that protects another companion. A successful block provides extra arm against the attack, mitigating more damage. However, you can still suffer damage while blocking and also suffer adverse effects from an attack. Each companion has different evade and block chance, but because certain skills are better against one or the other, you often have to change these by clicking the defense mode icon. Alright. Pull a foe forward. Strafe, savage kick, move. Defensive mode. I'll keep you in evasive mode. Let's go in for a big ol' axie swing. God damn, that thing's big. It blocked. Sidarius is a very tough companion due to his armor and good defenses. His skills also include a support skill that enhances his stats, Vengeance, and one that debilitates, Bane. Some skills can affect multiple targets. Sidarius' Cleave deals less damage than his single target Unholy Strike, but it targets two enemies that stand side by side. Use any skill. Where's the any skill? Yeah, going for the big heavy hit. Yeah. You, the Vagrus, may not take part directly in companion combat, but that does not mean you have no means to influence it. This game is a lot of text, but I'm very interested in the world and want to learn more. What's the chance of re-putting this game on some wheels? I mean, if people are interested in seeing more, that's all it takes. Especially like chat picks, that's 100% chance it'll go on there, but just like bring it up every once in a while. Anytime we're like, I wonder what we're gonna do now, just toss out the idea of playing more of this. I find the world pretty interesting myself. Two options. Aid revives down companions. And Inspire, substantial buff. Use Inspire to give a character additional defense. Why can't we bring back Nameless Dead Man? Poor guy. I want to inspire him. Boost skill. Hold on, tutorial, come back. Use Inspire. Oh, I'm using my things. Right. Main menu, combat objectives, retreats, resourcefulness, aid, inspire, Empower. That's where I use my skills. Alright, I can choose whoever I want. I'm gonna inspire you, big guy. Can I inspire multiple people? Alright, do I have to... Tutorial's gone, I think I inspired them already. Good, good, good. I can inspire everybody. I got multiple uses. Got my whole little bar. Alright, Yavik. Let's give you another premonition. Big ol' axe swing, get rid of the little guys so we can focus on the big guy. Oh, never mind, just big guy. Oh, one's too far to the right. Go ahead, Yavik! Yavik, my boy. That thing is huge, though. I'm a little concerned. Alright, cool. Yavik, no! You, the Vagrus, may not take part. Yes, 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 yes. Use aid. I'm coming, my friend. Uh-oh. I used up too much resourcefulness. Did I break the tutorial? There's a chance I broke the tutorial. By inspiring too much. Man, why do people never program the tutorials to be aware of people like me? Uh-oh. I broke it. I broke it. Will anything let me through? How do I restore some of this? Come on, tutorial, give me the resourcefulness I need. That's from 10 minutes ago. I broke it. I couldn't, like, do anything with my team because of, being out of action points. Thankfully, we're just down the road from where we were.
Just as we were about to leave.
Russian and attack. Bang, bang, bang. This time I won't use extra bits. Do, 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 do. I'll put Yavik behind the big guy. Begin fight. Oh, no! R.I.P. that guy. Do it. Ow. Good evade. Doo-doo. See, this is where we messed up last time. And now we're done. We don't do it again. Yeah, she evaded, which pushed her backwards. Now she moved again. Oh no, she didn't. Interesting. Give her a premonition. No missing. Only hitting. She's taking a beating. More premonition for her. Start working on the giant man. Quarter forward, immediately she gets slapped. I know, the audio for the fight is a million times louder. Javik, how'd you get back there? How'd you get back there? One? Lady, you gotta do better. A companion's downed. Looking great. Time to use revive. There, we made it past the part of the tutorial we got broken on last time. I'm just gonna premonition her every time. These premonitions aren't helping! Jesus! They're still beating her up. She's dead. She's already dead. Melee. Javik slices at a foe with his curved blade, if only to be able to move away from the melee. Do it. There we go. I had to choose where he moves. I understand now. Javik didn't do a good job. There will be very few survivors. R.I.P. everybody that isn't this guy. Is it though? Is it though? Is it victory? I don't know if I would call that victory. It's over. The undead finally stopped moving, their bodies lying mutilated all around the hills. The large abomination was hacked to pieces and is now a jumbled pile of ash. A jumbled pile of ash and petrified bones. Some of your crew also got torn up. There are several wounded and one dead. The man in the black armor is the only one of his company who survived the battle. He's sitting on a rock nearby, covered in ash from hacking at the abominations, drinking ponderously from a water skin while he's observing the battlefield. His grim gaze wanders from one slain companion to the other, as if wanting to make sure that all of them are dead. At length, his piercing gaze finds you, and a chill runs down your spine. There's no doubt in your mind that the man and you need to talk. You walk up to the man and offer him your hand. He looks you up and down in a fashion that suggests mild contempt. His great sword, forged of steel, lies across his lap. He does not take your hand. You seem to be the leader of this company of travelers. What is your business here? The bluntness of the question, coupled with the man's evident hostility and ungratefulness, leaves you speechless. Perhaps it's for the best. You notice that the man is bearing the symbol of Surgorod, which should make you cautious. God of vengeance, anger, malevolence, and curses. Oh my. That you're a trading comitatus traveling south. I see. So you turning up here is a matter of utter coincidence, I take it. When you assure him it is, he narrows his eyes and pierces you with his gaze. There's a tense moment that seems to take forever. You are truthful, Vagrus. Commendable. The man rises from the rock. He towers over you now, and it dawns on you that the war gear he carries makes him either very rich or very powerful in this metal-starved world, or both.
I'm grateful for your assistance in that skirmish, late as it was,
he says, turning to look at Javik, who appears at your side and bows his head to the man. Without acknowledging your friend or his greeting, the armored fellow turns to you again.
My name is Sidarius. I am a knight of Ordis Negris Solis. By aiding me, Vagrus, you have aided Imperial law. You must have some questions of your own. Now's your chance to ask them.
Good night, Nara. I do want to go have dinner soon, but I'm curious to see where this is going. He cocks his head to the side, his blade resting on his shoulder, awaiting your questions. Ask him about the fight.
My company was drawn here with the false promise of finding the hideout of enemies of the Empire. Instead, a large group of undead surrounded us, most likely drawn here by some vile trickery. We had to fight for our lives. You arrived toward the end of a drawn-out battle and saw my last companions fall. We fought with Segarod's rage and the Empire in our hearts, but there were just too many of the shamblers.
Looking around, you now realize how savage the confrontation must have been. Dozens and dozens of undead lie all around the field, and only a half dozen of Sidarius's dead companions.
My companions lie dead. There's nothing else you need to know, save only that they were all dedicated servants of the Empire who did not flinch in the face of the ultimate adversity. They were all either members of the Church of Surgarod or my order. I led them here in hopes of hunting down traitors, but they were betrayed in turn. I will not rest until I avenge such treachery.
He grits his teeth so hard you're afraid they'll crack. There's an unholy light in his eyes for a few brave moments.
By the grace of the Triumvirate, I now have the opportunity to do so.
Cool. Ask him about his knightly order.
The Order of the Black Sun is one of the Fulcimus Imperium. As you know, we are adherents of Segorod and Ashkul. We are the best of the best, enforcers of the Empire's hunting down criminals and traitors, guarding our great leaders and leading military operations. This hunt was also one such task we typically undertake.
From the way he speaks of the knightly order, it's clear that Sidarius is utterly dedicated to it. Ask him what he was doing here.
I and my companions came here in search of enemies of the Empire, to smoke them out of their hideout here in the wilds. Supposed to be the last glorious battle, concluding a long investigation that took months. As you can see, it went down quite differently. It's now my assumption that we've been betrayed and a trap was set for us. The traitors we were supposed to apprehend lured us here along with the undead and hoped to see us slaughtered. Surgarod, however, in his endless salience, saw fit to grant us, well, me, an opportunity for retribution. Rejoice, Vagrus! You have been an instrument of the divine, sent here by Surgarod himself to aid me in my quest for vengeance.
What do you plan to do now?
I intend to return to Avernum. I have to debrief my superiors there of what happened today. I also want to look more into the lead that ultimately brought us here.
He fixes you with his gaze.
Your destination does not happen to be Avernum, does it?
You can't help but tell the truth. You're too well aware that lying to one of the Knights of the Black Sun is high treason. It's the first time you see Sidarius's malevolent smile.
Good. I shall join you for the journey. Irophons teaches us to share the burdens of the road. Now, tell your men to pile up the bodies of my companions. Burning them without a proper ritual is not becoming of such heroes of the Empire. We have no time for much else. Gather all your belongings while you're at it. Make it happen, Vagrus. In the meantime, someone skillful enough should take a look at my wounds.
You're about to leave when Sidarius calls after you.
And just so everyone knows, the danger might still be looming over us. The traitors who I was supposed to find might be around here, keeping a distance. They surely would have finished me off had I managed to conquer all the undead by myself. I doubt they're going to make a move now that you are here, but know that their desperation will drive them to. Though your crew does not like to be ordered around by a stranger, they too agree that the slain should be tended to. The pile is burning and the cart line is ready to leave in an hour. As the Comitatus is crossing into the Badlands, you climb on the cart where the resting Sidarius is sitting in the back. You can see he's holding something small in his hands and observing it attentively. This is a fetish charm, one that the kindly sisters and the disciples of Ashkul used to attract the reanimated dead. The knight tosses you a small bone charm, complete with arcane writing in the black ink and some teeth they attach to the centerpiece. I disabled it, do not worry. These filthy traitors may have used a stolen charm to ensnare my contingent, but I still am anointed in the faith of Ashkul, and I swear they'll suffer for this atrocity. You give the charm back to the knight. There's also the matter of the belongings of my fallen comrades. I expect you to hold on to them until we reach Avernum. We'll discuss them there. You nod and turn to the horizon. Whether you like it or not, you're bound to the night for the next few days to come.
The Dark Knight joined us after we rescued him from the clutches of the mindless undead horrors that slaughtered his companions. He was a grim sort, displaying no gratitude or companionship. Yet we were stuck with him, for a lawman such as the Knight could make his dreadful will ours by command. So we set out, bound for Avernum, the greatest city in the vicinity.
The greatest city of all time, just around these parts at least.
Leader management's now active. Alright, observe and interact with your character, insight, perks. Select and purchase the Prepare Leadership perk. Boop, 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 ba-dee-bee-dee. I clicked on the wrong thing, guy. Right. Prepare. Neat. Oh my. Click on your companions. Helmet icon on the leader menu. Helmet icon. Oh, over here. There's my friend Morwen. The luck talisman. Drag and drop onto empty gear slot. Gear. Boop, there you go. What do you want now? Oh, also some laurels? There you go. Oh, she can level up too? Good lord. This game gets deeper and deeper. Upgrade Morwen's prowess. Scoutmaster, proficiency, insight. Oh, prowess is just this big bar. Confirm. Take a little camping time. We're running real low on money. Real low on money. Either way, we should send some people out. It's almost like I'm being punished for freeing all of my goddamn slaves and having to pay them now. Come on. I should be rewarded for doing so. And they all failed. You people suck at your jobs. At least we have enough walkie times. What game is this? This is Vagrus.
The whole comitatus becomes agitated as a dust cloud appears in the east and starts to move towards you. You give orders to your crew to prepare for a dust storm. Such a thing is fairly common out here on the border of the searing plains, and you should have little trouble traversing it. Make the necessary arrangements. After half an hour, the cloud is much closer and is now certain will cross your path. By then, everyone's wearing protective masks or bandanas, and all the cargo and equipment are secured. Javik is riding a large beast of burden, having fastened himself to its back, deep in concentration, maintaining the calmness of all your animals with his telepathic skills. But something's off. An uncanny twilight is settling on the broken plains around you. It's much too early for sunset, and the storm itself should not blot out light in such a manner. And then you hear it, chanting on the wind, and a pale light at the heart of the storm, heading your way. You could see the faces of the crew slowly becoming distorted in panic. Man, the fucking pilgrimage came by a second time? Try to flee as fast as you can. You're just about to give the orders when Sidarius walks up to you.
What is the meaning of this, Vagrus? There's no need for such a desperate act. It's just a dust storm.
You tell him quickly about your previous encounter with the last pilgrimage.
Nonsense! The chances that the pilgrims would show up again are...
Sidarius trails off as the eerie twilight falls upon the comitatus, and the dust cloud envelopes you all. There's no time to flee or hide, so you signal everyone to draw weapons and stand at the ready. Some of your crew tremble, some are praying, and some are just about to break. But not Sidarius. The knight walks toward the approaching apparitions as if he were possessed by death itself. You see Javik, frowning and swearing in concentration, no doubt trying to combat your beast instincts to flee in utter terror. In a few moments, you can hear the chanting and see the ghostly pilgrims clearly through the dust curtain. Desiccated forms in faded robes, shuffling along the broken terrain, or rather, over the terrain somehow, as if floating at a rapid pace. Their vacant faces are illuminated by a dreadful pale light that emanates from their hollow insides. You're paralyzed by terror. Blurred images enter your mind, visions of a horrid procession of living dead wearing faded robes. You walk among them. You are one of them. Is this the end? Before they can reach you, the spectral pilgrims turn left and head south along a dried-out riverbed without any apparent reason. It takes your mind a few minutes to comprehend that an unusual mercy has just been granted you and your crew. The last pilgrimage marches on, slowly disappearing into the cracked bedlands beyond, taking the ghoulish twilight and dust storm with them. It takes a few good moments for the crew and yourself to come to your senses. Did this truly happen? What was the reason, if any, for the spectral troop to change direction at the last second? How can it be explained that they appeared again after such a short time? Sidarius walks over to you looking confident, though you could see he's a bit shaken too.
Sergorod is with us. This is an omen if I've ever seen one. My destiny for retribution against the enemies of the Empire must be the reason why these horrors let us be.
You swallow and nod. Whoa, swallowing? I don't remember giving a molten tongue. Yet you are not so certain why it happened the way it did.
Rest assured, Vagrus. As long as you have me by your side, no harm will come to your comitatus. Remember that.
He walks away, signaling the line to move along. Still rattled, you move along the line, assuring everyone that the danger has passed. With the comitatus moving, you join Javik on top of the largest beast of burden, but you barely talk. You've never heard of anyone encountering the last pilgrimage twice. Somehow you do not feel blessed. Haunted, more like. After an hour or two, you and your crew fall back into your travel routines, and tonight all this will seem much less terrifying. In fact, you should be grateful for avoiding certain death at the hands of these accursed things twice in a row. Hopefully, there won't be a third time. You move towards Avernum. I still got 7 movement points here, and I might use a forced march because I'm out of money. I think I could afford to pay everyone one more time. Yeah, I could exactly one more time I could afford to pay everybody. If I didn't do a forced march, though, I would not have been able to. Try to heal these
battered people. Alright, at the very least we got some supplies, even though it's considered a failure. Everyone was dead earlier, but you know what? They're only merely hurt now. The Comitatus climbs a broken ridge, and everyone stops for a moment to take in the grim sight of Avernum. Nestled atop and around a range of large hills. On the horizon to the southwest, chimneys of the city's many forges and smelters cast a dark shadow over it, while the lava fields beyond provide an intense reddish glow as a backdrop. Several crude roads meander among the hills here, probably leading to the mines and quarries you had passed during the last day or so.
Time for us to part ways, Vagrus.
The voice of Sidarius makes you jump a little. For a large fellow wearing heavy armor, he managed to creep up on you without a word. He's standing beside you, gazing at the horizon.
I have to make my way to the city alone. My reasons are my own. But before I go, I have a proposition for you.
His voice and stature tell you there is not much point in arguing.
You are well aware, of course, that my contingent was betrayed and ambushed out in the wastelands where we met. During our trek back here, I've come to the conclusion that whoever betrayed us has to be someone involved in the investigation I led in Avernum before setting out for the city. Even though I have some ideas where to start looking for traitors, the implications of this despicable betrayal are too severe to attempt to meet head-on. I require secrecy and guile. Most of my remaining allies in the city and I are too easy to track or recognize, and those responsible could easily make evidence disappear if I'm revealed to be alive. Someone else has to provide the guile for us.
After a short pause, he looks you in the eye.
What I mean is that you, your friend the mage, and the rest of your crew could be vital in finding the culprits and bringing them to justice. The Empire needs your help, Vagrus.
Agree to help him, for the Empire or for gaining powerful friends. Seems somewhat surprised, perhaps disappointed even for a brief moment. Then he flashes what passes for a smile.
Very well. I was indeed nurturing the hope that you'd be willing to aid the Empire in this perilous moment. We will struggle side by side, just like we did near the Voiceless Lake, Vagrus. And I can assure you, the Order of the Black Sun does not forget loyalty and dedication to the Empire.
He slaps you on the shoulder.
Now let us part ways and follow my plan.
What is the plan?
The plan for now is to make our ways to Avernum separately, so that you won't be associated with me at all. Rest assured that although they do not expect my return, the traitors would be informed at once had I turned up at the city gates. I must find an alternate way in. I will send for you once I'm settled in. Someone trustworthy shall appear and guide you to my...
The next words make him wince.
Hideout. We'll talk about your task there.
You ask him about the belongings of his former comrades. The knight frowns.
That might complicate matters somewhat. Take their holy symbols to the Temple of Surgorod quietly. You can get rid of the weapons as you see fit, but I forbid selling them at the market. It would draw too much attention to you, and we do not want that for now.
He pierces you with his gaze.
I sincerely hope I could trust you with this, Vagrus. Woe betide you if you do not comply.
With that, he takes his leave of you and waits as you signal the Comitatus to move forward. Quarter of an hour later, Sidarius is only a speck on the horizon, and you will rapidly approach Avernum.
Dark omens, ominous apparitions of an otherworldly covenant of spectres, a grim night out for vengeance, time and coin running out slowly. Yet against all odds, we journeyed to the city of Avernum on the Smoulderbone Flats, a place bustling with travellers, merchants, and lowlifes. It was supposed to be a short stop on our way east, but we got more than we bargained for.
Fucking March. The city of Avernum. You could smell its foul stench even as you approach its mighty gates set in dark walls decorated with the bones of gigantic creatures. The dry, sulphurous reek of the region so close to the molten tongue mixes with the bitter, ashen stink of the many foundries and forges in the city. Over the walls, the rooftops and chimneys of the city lean together in a jumble. Buildings on the lower part of the hill are more dilapidated, while the ones near the top are in better condition in general, with a walled-off villa appearing here and there. A group of guards stops you at the comitatus, moves ponderously under the gate arch. While your cargo and men are being checked, you could see several of the grim, black-clad legionnaires of the Avernus Legion standing guard beneath the gate towers, staring at you. "Gate tax is 2 changes," the head guardsman says after getting the confirmation from his men that everything's in order. A slave next to him bows to you and holds up the open money box he carries, chained to him. I have 0 brass, 1 lirg, and 2 changers. Literally, like, the tail end of my money is the gate tax here. Good lord. Having passed through the city gate, you arrive at the cobbled plaza on the other side. You head toward the Mansio, a large inn for comitati, without delay to set yourself up there and have some rest after the arduous journey. In an hour, everything is settled. Your beasts are stabled, your cargo is unloaded into the warehouse, and most of your crew is getting ready. Or resting, rather. Just as you're about to head into the common room for a drink, Javik approaches you and draws you aside. "There's something here. Someone here to see you, boss. Someone sent by our nightly friend. Says she wants to talk to you discreetly. She's waiting behind the stables." It was foolish to think you could have rid yourself of Sidarius and his agenda even for a few hours, but you have little choice. The woman waiting for you in the shadows behind the stables of the Mansio is wearing a large hood and a long cape over a dark gray, featureless tunic. As you approach, she throws the hood back, revealing the markings of someone in the service of Ashkul, god of the underworlds. A face painted pale with dark eyeshadow to give the impression of a skull. You suspect she's a novice attached to the Order of the Black Sun or an acolyte of the Church of Ashkul. The woman looks around furtively. There's nobody nearby, just you and Javik. "Greetings from our mutual friend, the Knight Dominus," the young woman says quietly after looking in the eye. "I was sent here to take you to him when you're ready. I'll wait here, just don't take too long. He's very eager to see you." From now on, you could visit Sidarius in Avern. So it would seem we're still here longer than we had expected. It occurs to me that such a delay would be a strain on our resources, and I doubt that our knightly friend cares about that. You've considered this also. Javik goes on as you rub your chin thoughtfully. "I was thinking we could smelt the scrap metal we bought. I know it would cost us, but hear me out. Not only does smelted metal take up less space in the cargo hold, but it could also allow us to sell a fraction of it for great profit here. It's a loss in the long run, but we have to pay the crew if we are to tarry here, don't we?" You have to admit he's making a lot of sense. You could smelt down the metal and sell some of the bars for an injection of coin if need be. The Mansio pane is now active. Good lord, there's a lot of stuff here. What we got? Fighting pits, Sidarius' hideout, the foundries, Temple of Ashkul, Segurad, meet Scorner. That's the guy we're here to do the illegal drug laundering with, or whatever it was. Slag Fort, official business with the authorities. Visit a sorcerer. He who smelt it shall then be able to dealt it. Decanter icon. The Mansio pane. They're in specialized for comitati. When you rest in the Mansio, the day ends. You'll get an end-day screen similar to when you're traveling. See your crew panel. Hire or dismiss crew as well. Buy or sell beasts. Switch between crew. All this is locked in Pilgrims of the Wasteland because we're just doing the tutorial. We could purchase rumors. I don't have money. You kidding me? Like, we still have a submissive icon, but we literally freed all of our slaves. We don't have slaves. 0 slaves, thank you very much. 17 workers, 3 scouts, 7 fighters, no outriders. Requires a mount and a fighter. Now we have 2 of them. No mounts. Beasts of burden. 2 of them. We could butcher them for food. Interesting. Scrap metal's in demand, though. Iron. How much scrap metal? I have so much scrap metal. I mean, can't I just sell the scrap metal? Edibles? Equipment? Official business with the authorities. Sorcerer. Slagfort. You know, I'm just gonna sell the stuff. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, you're talking about game? I'm fucking rich now. 34 the good stuff. That'll keep me going for days. Down to 39 supplies, though. Oh yeah, am I allowed to save my game? Because I'm starving. Only stage a prize each time you reach a checkpoint in the story, leaving a settlement, start of a new day. That's right. But it's like almost 2. I've been going for quite a while at this point. I am hungry, so I'm going to call it here. Vagrus, the Riven Realms, though. If you like stuff like Sunless Sea, but with even more, like, focus on mechanics and combat and such, this is definitely the game for you.